Hello everyone, this is Asra Sultana, Assistant Professor in EEE Department, working in ISL Engineering College. So in today's class of Electrical Machines 2, we are going to study about the variation of current and power factor with excitation. So previous classes we have studied about the introduction to the synchronous motor, what is the construction, operating principle and applications of synchronous motor, and we have seen about the magnetic locking. These are the very important terms. We have seen rotating magnetic field, magnetic locking, and we have seen the phasor diagram or the vector diagram of synchronous motor. So today's class I am going to tell about the variation of current and power factor with excitation. So any electromagnetic device will draw a magnetizing current from the AC source to produce required working flux. Okay, so whenever there is a current flowing in the device, there will be a flux produced in it. So electromagnetic device will draw a magnetizing current from the AC supply main to produce a required flux. So this magnetizing current will lag by almost 90 degrees to the supply voltage, or we can say that the function of the magnetizing current or lagging voltampere drawn by the electromagnetic device is to set up the flux in the magnetic circuit of the device. So same thing we are telling it again, that what is the function of a magnetizing current, that it will produce a flux in the magnetic circuit. So current is flowing in the circuit, magnetic flux will be produced in the circuit. In a simple way we can say it like this. Okay. So synchronous motor is a doubly fed electrical motor, and it will convert electrical energy into mechanical energy via magnetic circuit. So already we have seen that why it is called as doubly fed, because to the stator and to the rotor we are giving the supply excitation separately here. So to the stator we are giving the 3-phase AC supply, and to the rotor we are giving a single phase DC supply. So this motor will comes under electromagnetic device. Okay. Synchronous motor will receive 3-phase AC electrical power supply to its armature winding, and DC supply will be provided for rotor winding. Okay. So 3-phase AC supply will be given to the armature, and single phase DC supply will be given to the rotor. So synchronous motor excitation will refer to the DC supply given to rotor, which will be used to produce required magnetic flux. So magnetic flux is produced because of the excitation which is given to the rotor through the DC supply. So one of the major and unique characteristics of this synchronous motor is that it can be operated at any electrical power factor. It can be leading, lagging or unity, and this feature will be based on the excitation of synchronous motor. So when the synchronous motor is working at constant applied voltage V, resultant air gap will be remaining constant. So this air gap flux will be established by cooperation of both AC supply of armature winding and DC supply of rotor winding. So there will be air gap flux which will be established between these two stator and rotor with the cooperation of both AC supply of armature winding and DC supply of rotor winding. So there are 3 cases. For let us see case 1. Case 1, that when the field current is sufficient enough to produce the air gap flux which is demanded by the constant supply voltage, then the magnetizing current or lagging reactive voltampere which is required from AC source will be 0, and motor will operate at unity power factor. So what we are telling here, that when the field current is sufficient enough to produce air gap flux, so magnetizing current or lagging reactive voltampere which is required from AC source is 0, and the motor will operate at unity power factor, UPF. Field current which will cause this unity power factor is called as normal excitation or normal field current. So what is the meaning of excitation? We are applying some current or some voltage to the winding, then it is called as excitation. Okay. So the field current which will cause this unity power factor is called as normal excitation or normal field current. Case 2, if the field current is not sufficient enough to produce the required air gap flux as demanded by voltage V, so additional magnetizing current or lagging reactive voltampere is drawn from the AC source. So if case 1 we have seen that field current is sufficient enough to produce air gap flux, then the motor will operate at a unity power factor. So now when the current is not sufficient to produce the required air gap flux as demanded by V, additional magnetizing current or lagging reactive volt ampere is drawn from AC source. So this magnetizing current will produce some flux, that is some deficient flux. So in this case the rotor is said to operate under lagging power factor, and this is the case of under excited system. Now let us see case 3. If the field current is more than the normal field current, motor is said to be overexcited. This excess field current will produce excess flux. So flux set up by DC supply, rotor winding and resultant air gap flux. This is the excess flux which must be neutralized by the armature winding. So armature winding will draw leading reactive voltampere or demagnetizing leading voltage by 90 degrees from the AC source. Now the motor will operate at leading power factor. So we have seen 3 cases. First one was unity power factor, second one was lagging power factor, and third one is leading power factor. 3 conditions the motor will operate. Okay. So the whole concept of excitation and power factor of synchronous motor we are summing up in the form of a graph. So this is called as V curve. Okay, V curve of a synchronous motor. Okay. Here you can see at no load we are getting graph like this, and this is at full load. This is at unity power factor in middle, and here right side we can see leading power factor, left side is lagging power factor load. An overexcited synchronous motor will operate at leading power factor, under excited synchronous motor operates at lagging power factor, and normal excited synchronous motor will operate at unity power factor. So there are 3 types of excitation. One is overexcited, under-excited and normal. Okay. So when motor will operate at over-excited, then it will be operating at leading power factor, and for under-excited motor will operate at lagging power factor, and for normal excited synchronous motor will operate at unity power factor. So excitation, effect of excitation on armature current and power factor. The value of excitation for which back EMF EB will equal to magnitude is applied to voltage B is known as 100% excitation. What is the meaning of 100% excitation? The value of excitation for which back EMF is equal to the applied voltage is called as 100% excitation. So now we will discuss that motor is over excited or under excited. So in this figure A is showing the case for 100% excitation, that is EB is equal to V. So all these 3 cases what we have discussed again same thing but in a different manner I am explaining here now. Okay. So now in figure 1 we can see that it is a case showing 100% excitation when EB is equal to V. So armature current I will lag behind V by an angle delta theta. So if angle Q with ER is fixed by stator constant, that is tan Q is equal to XS by RA, and figure B showing the excitation which is less than 100%, that is EB is less than V. ER is advanced clockwise and armature current is also same, okay, clockwise. So magnitude of I will be increased but its power factor is decreased. So because input as well as V are constant, hence power component of I, that is I cos F, remains the same as before, but wattless component I sin F will be increased. So excitation will be decreased and I will increase but power factor will decrease. So power component, that is I cos F is equal to OA, will remain constant. So the locus of extremity of current vector would be straight horizontal line, and it may be noted that when field current is reduced, the motor pull out torque is also reduced in proportion. So third figure here, EB is greater than V. It is representing the condition for over excited motor, that is EB greater than V. So resultant vector ER will be pulled anti-clockwise and so is the current. So now the motor will be drawing a leading current. It may also happen for some value of excitation that current will be in phase with voltage, that is power factor is unity. So in fourth figure, D figure, we can see that E2 is greater than V again. So at this time the current drawn by the motor will be minimum. So 2 important points will stand out clearly from this above discussion. First one is that the magnitude of armature current will vary with excitation, and current has large value both for low and high values of excitation. So though it is lagging for low excitation and leading for higher excitation, but still we can say that the current is having the large value both for low and high values of excitation. So in between it has minimum value corresponding to certain excitation, and the variations of current with excitation are shown in this diagram here. On x-axis the DC field current, and y-axis we are taking as power factor. So we are obtaining V curves here. You can see here these are the V curves, that is full load, half load and no load. And this is leading power factor and lagging power factor, and middle one is the unity power factor. So second case, that is for the same input armature current will vary over a wide range and will cause the power factor to also vary accordingly. When overexcited, motor will run with leading power factor and with lagging power factor when underexcited, and in between the power factor is unity. Okay, overexcited, leading power factor, underexcited, lagging power factor, and in normal operation, normally excited, then the power factor is unity. So variations of power factor with excitation is shown here in this graph. So the curve for power factor looks like inverted V curve. So this is called as this is V curve and this is inverted V curve. So overexcited motor can be run with leading power factor. This property of motor will render it extremely useful for phase advancing purposes in case of industrial loads which are driven by induction motors, and lighting and heating loads which are supplied to the transformers. So both the transformers and induction motors will draw lagging currents from the line. So especially on light loads, the power drawn by them will be having a large reactive component and power factor has a very low value. So this reactive component, which is essential for operating the electric machine, entails appreciable loss in many ways. So by using synchronous motors in conjunction with induction motors and transformers, lagging reactive power which is required by the transformer, which is required by the induction motors, is supplied locally by the leading reactive component taken care by the synchronous motors. So thereby relieving the line and generators of much of the reactive component. So they now supply only the active component of load current. When used in this way, synchronous motor is called as synchronous capacitor. So what is a synchronous capacitor? We are using both synchronous motors and induction motors in conjunction and transformers. These three things we are using, and for a lagging reactive power of the required by the latter will be supplied by the leading reactive component taken by the former, that is relieving the line and generators of reactive components. So they will supply only the active component of the load current. So these motors are called as synchronous capacitors because it is drawing like a capacitor leading current from the line. So most synchronous capacitors are rated between 20 MVAR megavolt ampere reactive to 200 megavolt ampere reactive, and many are hydrogen cooled. So let us see numericals. Two numericals we are solving here. First one is, describe briefly the effect of varying excitation upon the armature current and power factor of a synchronous motor when input power to the motor is maintained constant. 400 volts, 50 hertz, 3 phase, 37.3 kilowatt star connected synchronous motor has a full load efficiency of 88%. The synchronous impedance of the motor is 0.2 plus J 1.6 watt per phase. If the excitation of the motor is adjusted to give a leading power factor of 0.9, calculate for full load A bit the induced EMF and B bit is the total mechanical power developed. So Zs is equal to root of 1.6 square minus 0.2 square, because here values are given. Z is equal to r plus jx. Okay, so z square is equal to r square plus x square. X square will be equal to z square minus r square, or z square is equal to root of r square plus x square. So r value is given as 0.2 and x value is 1.6. So root of 1.6 square plus 0.2 square is equal to 1.61 ohms is the value for Zs. Now full load current will be equal to what? Rating, KVA rating divided by root 3 VI, root 3 V. So 37.3 kilowatt is the rating here. So 37.3 into 10 power 3. So it will become 37,300 divided by root 3 into voltage is 400 into power factor is 0.9. Efficiency is 88%. Okay. So root 3 into voltage into efficiency into power factor is giving us the full load current value, that is 68 amps. I into Zs is equal to 1.61 into 68, that is 109.5 volts. So with reference to this phasor diagram, we can write the value of tan theta as opposite by adjacent, that is 1.6 by 0.2. So that is 82 degrees 54 seconds. Cos phi can be written as cos phi power factor is given as 0.9. So from this I can write the value of phi as cos inverse of 0.9, that is 25 degrees 50 minutes. Okay. So theta plus phi is equal to 82 degrees 54 minutes, that is plus 25 degrees 50 minutes, that is 108 degrees 44 minutes. Now cos 108 degrees is minus 0.3212. So in triangle delta OAB, EB square is 231 square plus 109.5 square minus 2 into 231 into 109.5 into minus 0.3212, that is equal to 285.6 volts, and line value will be equal to root 3 times phase value because it is a star connected motor. So line voltage is root 3 times phase voltage. The root 3 times 285.6 is your value of line voltage. So total motor input is 37.300 divided by 0.88, that is 42.380 watts. So 42,380 watts. So total copper losses is 3 times Ia square Ra. So substituting the value of I and Ra, so I am going to get the value of copper losses as 2.774 watts. So electric power converted into mechanical power is 42,380 minus 2.774, that is 39.3 kilowatts. Okay. Next numerical we will see 3-phase star connected synchronous motor takes 48 kilowatts at 693 volts. The power factor is 0.8 lagging. Induced EMF is increased by 30%. The power taken remaining the same. Find the current and the power factor. The machine has a synchronous reactance of 2 watt per phase and negligible resistance. So full load current is given by 48,000 divided by root 3 into 693 into 0.8, 50 amps. So voltage per phase is 693 by root 3, 400 volts, and Zs is XS, that is equal to 2 ohms here. So IZs 100 volts and tan theta is 2 by 0, that is infinity. Okay. So 2 by 0 is infinity. Theta is equal to 90 degrees, cos phi is 0.8 and sin phi is 0.6. So vector diagram is showing here. In this we can find out the value of EB. EB square is 400 square plus 100 square minus 2 into 400 into 100 into cos 90 minus phi. So substituting the value of phi here, I am going to get the value of EB as 349 volts. So EB now is for an increased EMF shown in figure this vector diagram. EB is 1.3 to 349, that is 454 volts. It can be assumed that in the second case current is leading voltage by angle phi. So let the new current and the leading angle of current by I and phi dash respectively. As power input remains same and V is also constant, I cos phi should be same for the same input. So I cos phi is 50 into 0.8, that is 40. And triangle ABC, AB square is equal to AC square minus BC square. So BC equal to IXS cos phi dash, or 40 into 2, 80 volts. So we can find out the value of AC as 447 and OC is 447 minus 447 volts. Tan phi dash is 47 by 80, that is phi dash is 30 degrees 26 minutes. Power factor is cos 30 degrees, that is 0.86 leading. I cos phi dash is 40. From this we can find out the value of I as 46.4 amps. So let us see another numerical. A synchronous motor absorbing 60 kilowatt is connected in parallel with a factory load of 240 kilowatt having a lagging power factor of 0.8. If the combined load has a power factor of 0.9, what is the value of the leading kVAR supplied by the motor and what power factor is it working? Load, let us see the solution of this problem. Load connections and phase relationships are shown in this figure. Voltage versus volt ampere reactive. Total load is 240 plus 60, that is 300 kilowatt, and phi is equal to 25.8 degrees, tan phi is 0.4834, and combined kVAR is 300 into 0.4834, that is 145 lag. Factory load cos phi L is equal to 0.8, that is phi L is equal to cos inverse of 0.8, that is 36.9, and tan phi L will be equal to 0.75, and load kVAR is 240 into 0.75, 180 degrees lagging. Load kVA is 240 by 0.8, 300, and kVAR is 300 into sin phi L, that is 300 into 0.6, because cos phi is 0.8, sin phi is 0.6. So phi L value, kVAR value we got as 180. So leading kVAR supplied by synchronous motor is 180 minus 145. So that is equal to 35. So for synchronous motor, kilowatt is 60 and leading kVAR is 35. Tan phi m is equal to 35 by 60. So phi m is 30.3, cos 30.3 is 0.863, and motor power factor is 0.863 leading, and motor kVA is root of 60 square plus 35 square. That is, I am going to get the value of motor kVA as 69.5. So in the exam you may get a question of what is V curve of a synchronous motor. So what we can write the answer for this? V curve is a plot of stator current versus field current for different constant loads, and the graph plotted between armature current IA and field current IF at no load is called as V curve. Okay. So since the shape of this curve is similar to that of letter V, they are called as V curve of synchronous motor. Power factor of synchronous motor can be controlled by varying the field current IF. So armature current IA will change with the change in the field current. So we are in this topic, today's topic we are telling that as armature current will change, field current will also changes. So let us assume that the motor is running at no load. If the field current is increased from small value, armature current will decrease until the armature current will become minimum. So at this minimum point, motor will be operating at unity power factor, and motor will operate at lagging power factor until it reaches up to the point of this point of operation. If now this field current is increased further, armature current will increase and the motor will start operating as a leading power factor. Then the graph drawn between the armature current and the field current is known as V curve. This procedure will be repeated for various increased loads, and a family of curves will be obtained like this. That is, x-axis I am taking field current and y-axis armature current, and for different loads at power factor lagging and left hand side you can see, and power factor leading right hand side, and this one is for unity power factor. Okay, these are the curves, V curves for full load, half load and no load. Okay. So point at which the unity power factor occurs is the point where the armature current is minimum. The curve connecting the lowest points of all the V curves for various power levels is called as unity power factor compounding curve. The compounding curves for pointed power factor lagging and pointed power factor leading are shown in this figure by a red dotted line. Okay. So the loci of constant power factor points on the V curves are called as compounding curves. So it shows the manner in which the field current should be varied in order to maintain the constant power factor under changing load. So points on the right and left of the unity power factor corresponds to the over excitation and leading current, and under excitation and lagging current respectively here. Okay. So this is right side for leading power factor and left side for lagging power factor, and middle one is for unity power factor. V curves are useful in adjusting the field current. Increasing the field current if beyond the level for minimum armature current will result in leading power factor, and decreasing the field current below the minimum armature current will result in lagging power factor. So it can be seen that the field current for unity power factor at full load will be more than the field current for unity power factor at no load. So figure below is showing the graph between the power factor and the field current at different loads. So at full load, half load and no load, and for lagging leading power factors we can see this inverted V curve. Okay. So in the exam you may be asked a question for long question. In the 5 marks you may asked draw the V and inverted V curves of synchronous motor or discuss about V and inverted V curves of synchronous motor. Then you have to draw these graphs. Okay. So from this figure we can clearly say that if the synchronous motor at full load is operating at unity power factor, so removal of shaft load will cause the motor to operate at leading power factor. Thank you everyone for watching the video. So next class I will be discussing some other topic. Okay. So I hope this is clear to everyone. So we have discussed about the V and inverted V curves of synchronous motor, very important concept this one. We have discussed few numericals also based on this topic, that is the effect of excitation on armature current and power factor, or this topic name is also called as variation of current and power factor with excitation. This is what is given in the syllabus book, variation of current and power factor with excitation. So we have obtained the V curve and inverted V curve. We have understood the how the if there is a change in excitation, how the current and power factor will be varying. Okay, we have seen this relationship via V and inverted V curves. Okay, for lagging, leading and unity power factor we have seen the V curves and inverted V curves. Okay, so I hope this is clear to everyone. Thank you everyone for watching the video.